everyone, and welcome to Faces and Heels, your podcast for professional wrestling here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and we just witnessed the 2025 Royal Rumble, which took place in Indianapolis, Indiana, and this was a pay-per-view that I was super excited for multiple reasons. This is my favorite premium live event from WWE since I've been watching WWE. It's so exciting. Then when they added the women's Royal Rumble to it, it even got more exciting. So I was hyped up for this year's Royal Rumble because it is stacked on both sides, women and the men. Then in the midst of all that, if that's not enough, you got two championship matches that took place for the tag team championships and for the undisputed championship match in a ladder match. So it was a lot going on in this match, and the road to WrestleMania officially started. You know, going into this, normally you have an idea of how WrestleMania is going to play out, who's going to be a part of WrestleMania and whatnot. This is the first year I can honestly say I have no earthly idea, or at least I didn't have no earthly idea how WrestleMania is going to play. I couldn't tell you one match that would take place at WrestleMania before tonight's premium live event. And I'm not complaining. I like it that way. You know, this is where a lot of questions got answered. These are where a lot of questions were brought up as well, because there's a lot going on that I'm still kind of scratching my head, but at least I can see the pavement that I'm stepping on heading to WrestleMania. As I said before, we had the women's Royal Rumble match that started off the night. Then we went into this 2 out of 3 falls match for the WWE Tag Team Championship between DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns. The ladder match for the undisputed WWE Championship between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. And then we had the men's Royal Rumble match to close out the night. Let's go over these matches and give my thoughts and my reaction to the results of these matches, beginning with the match to open up the night, the 30-woman Royal Rumble match. This match will determine who will challenge the Women's World Championship or for the WWE Women's Championship at this year's WrestleMania. I won't break down every single participant in this match. I'm just going to go through a couple of, I guess you could say, spots that took place in this match. I was super excited for this match because for the past, I think, 6 years that the women's it's been about 8 years that the women's Royal Rumble match was introduced. And I've enjoyed each and every one of them. In a few years, it outshined the men's. And so I have always been hyped up for the women's. This year was the first year I was disappointed with the women's. It was stacked. It was a lot of good spots in it. It wasn't a bad match. It wasn't a bad Royal Rumble match. It was real botchy. This was a real botchy Royal Rumble match, and it just looked really, I don't know, cluttered. And I understand it's a 30-woman battle royal. We talking about 30 women in the ring. When we didn't get 30 total at one time in the ring, but we did get a good number of women in the ring at the same time. This match went an hour and 10 minutes, and I would say for about 40 minutes of it, we got no eliminations. And so bodies was just piling up in the ring. It was no room to do any spots. There was no room to move around and maneuver. It was just really cluttered, you know, and I think it affected the match in a lot of ways. But the match opened up at number 1. Io Sky came in at number 1. I was hurt immediately by that because I was like, oh, she's not going to win. You coming in at number one. Now it can happen. It has happened a few times in Royal Rumble history. Somebody go the distance. But if Io was to pull this off, uh, it would have been monumental. Now she got pretty far. I think she was one of the final four, maybe final. I don't know. It was single digits, but she got pretty far towards the end. But ultimately she didn't quite make it. But in any event, she started it off. Uh, the surprises, we did get a couple of surprises in this match. Not really surprises if you pay attention to the internet and whatnot. You know who was going to show up. Nikki Bella came out of retirement. We was hearing that for a couple of weeks that she was coming back to the WWE. She even showed up on Netflix, Raw on Netflix a couple of weeks ago. So it was kind of hinted that she would be returning to WWE and had a pretty good showing in this match. Did pretty decent. She came in and surprised. Jordan Grace made it official that she is a part of WWE proper. You know, she was in the Royal Rumble last year, but she was in the Royal Rumble last year as the TNA Knockouts champion. Now she finished up with TNA. She officially signed with WWE a couple of weeks ago, and she made her debut as a WWE wrestler. And once again, I am so excited. She was my dark horse to win it all. Didn't quite happen, but it was good to see her in this match and did really good in the match. I am so ready to see her work WWE style matches. It's gonna be a joy. I can't wait to see that. The biggest surprise. Well, before we get to the biggest, Trish Stratus popped up. She popped up in there, which I was kind of disappointed with because I was like, well, that's a spot reserved for somebody else. Even though she did pretty good. I'm not the biggest Trish Stratus fan as far as her wrestling ability, but you know, she got better through time. To be honest with you, she got better. Where I really was impressed with her wrestling is when she came back the last time from retirement. And I'm like, man, Trish Stratus got it now. I don't know what happened before. You know, before it seemed like after she became a Hall of Famer, that's when she really dove into the wrestling aspect of it. Because she a beast now. And she did pretty good in here. But, you know, I was hoping for more, at least from the surprise aspect of it all. But the biggest surprise for a lot of people, some people predicted it, but a lot of people were saying on the internet that the two parties, being WWE and this individual, couldn't come to a contract agreement. She was going to leave WWE. She was done with it and blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, and we got this report like either yesterday or the day before yesterday. So it was like, well, she's not going to be in a Rumble. And lo and behold, Alexa Bliss, blah, the tongue twister, Alexa Bliss made her return. And boy, the pop from that crowd. And I had to shut up to hear the pop because I was screaming. I was happy. I love Alexa Bliss. I do. I missed her. I hated the fact that they put her in that Bray Wyatt thing, you know, with the Sister Abigail and the spooky supernatural element thing that they did towards the end of her last run before she went off and had her baby and all this other stuff. I just didn't like the supernatural element of it all. But before all that, I loved her, especially as a heel. She's a great heel, and it was good to see her back. But this match had a very predictable end. Not predictable because I didn't predict it, but the reason I didn't predict it because this was the one outcome I did not want. It could have been 29 other outcomes and I would have been okay with it. And it's no slight against her. It was just lazy to me. You know, it just didn't make sense to me for her to win. The winner of the Women's Royal Rumble match of 2025, Charlotte Flair, making her return after being out for about a year and a month. That She hasn't wrestled since she tore that ACL. Yeah, man. I ACL, MCL, and everything else in her knee. I mean, she tore her knee up. And so it was good to see her back. Don't get me wrong. I just didn't want her to win. You know, why put her, just automatically put her in the main event at WrestleMania for the championship? I know it's Charlotte Flair. I get that. But just look in that match. Look at all the women in that match who deserve that shot, who worked hard for that shot over the past year that she's been out. Now, it ain't her fault. She was hurt. I get it. But come on. Come on. That just didn't work. That didn't work for me. Now, the build up to WrestleMania can save it. I know 9 times out of 10 she's going to challenge Tiffany Stratton. You know, these two glamorous superstars is going to be interesting. Or they can do rinse and repeat again and have her go up against Rhea Ripley. I don't know. We'll see. But 9 times out of 10 it will be Tiffany Stratton. I don't like that. I don't like that either, because you feeding Tiffany Stratton to Charlotte Flair. She just got the belt. She hadn't done anything with the belt since she got it. And then you're going to feed her to Tiffany Stratton. I mean, feed her to Charlotte Flair. I didn't like that. But what I did like from this match was the showcase of the NXT women, you know, with Jada Parker, Lash Legend, Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, and Roxy Perez, who was the runner-up. You know, I actually, for a moment there, thought Roxanne Perez was going to eliminate Charlotte Flair, and they were going to pull the trigger. I really thought it. And the roof would have blew off of this place. And I'm talking about mine. I don't know how it would have been on Lucas Oil Stadium, but here the roof would have came off. I would have been so happy. But they didn't pull the trigger on that. But the NXT women showed up and showed out. I got to give them props on that, showcasing those women, the future of the WWE. And that was real smart on their part. It was good to see, you know, the return of a couple of female stars. That was great. You know, the ones I mentioned before. It was good to see Jordynne Grace get some shine. The disappointments, the returns that I was, you know, willing to put money on that will pop up in this match and didn't. We didn't see Jade Cargill return. I was expecting that. That didn't happen. I was expecting to see Becky Lynch return. That didn't happen. Well, to be honest with you, it really dawned on me when Charlotte came out. I think Charlotte came out at what, 27 or something like that. And when Charlotte came out, I was like, nah, Becky ain't coming out. They're not going to do it, because one thing, Charlotte Flair, egos are a big thing. And these two got serious ego problems. If you don't go back and watch their programs from a few years ago, I'm not going to say they don't like each other, because I think they patch things up in that sense, but it's a professional competition between the two, and they weren't going to let the other steal their shine on their respective return. They're not on the same night, and definitely not in the same match. So once she came out, it really hit home with me, like, oh no, she's not coming. It's not happening. And so yeah, it was a little disappointing, even though it was stacked. It was exciting. They kept the energy flowing. It was just real botchy. And it just seems like at points, it seems like nobody really walked through certain moments of the match, you know, before they went out there. They were just winging it at one point. That's the way it felt. But hey, it is what it is. It wasn't the worst Royal Rumble match that I've ever seen. So for that, I give the women's Royal Rumble match, and I'm switching it up from now on. I'm not doing the stars anymore, because that's reserved for other reviewers. So I'm just going to do it out of 10. And my rating, I'll give it 6 out of 10. I give it 6 out of 10. It was decent. It was watchable. It opened up the show. It deserved to be at the open of the show. I'll put it that way. So that was the women's Royal Rumble match where we saw Charlotte Flair make her return and punch her ticket to WrestleMania. Our next match of the Royal Rumble was a 2 out of 3 falls match for the WWE Tag Team Championship, where the champions DIY, who are Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, they put those championships on the line against Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabian. A match that I was super excited for. I knew it was going to be a banger. It had banger written all over it, and it was fine. It was a fine match. It was a really good tag team match. I don't know what the issue was with that match. I don't know if it was cut for time or they had a different outcome planned and something changed. I don't know, but it just didn't feel like it got into gear. You know what I'm saying? It was like they sped through it. This match was like 14 minutes long, and I was expecting this to be a long match, like a 30-minute match maybe, because it's 2 out of 3 falls. It's 2 out of 3. It is essentially 3 matches. We had 3 matches. And the first 2 went through like bloop, bloop. It was a pinfall, then another pinfall, and then the real match started, and like I said, great tag team wrestling. Great. They took it to school. This was a class on tag team wrestling. But it just didn't quite get there. And then the end. It was so unnecessary, I felt. Motor City Machine Guns, they got the upper hand, looked like they were about to win back the titles. And I was like, okay, so WWE, we're playing this game, bouncing the title back and forth between these two. And I was like, man, I was feeling confident. I had faith in the tag team division because they had finally started paying some attention to the tag team division. And all of a sudden, the Street Profits show up and help DIY win the belt. Now, this is where I was like, huh. I was like, okay, because it was DIY who attacked the Street Profits and put them out. I'm like, why are they helping them? It was so confusing. And then DIY won the match thanks to the interference. And after the match, the Street Profits attacked DIY and held up the belts, and the crowd was like everybody else who was watching it at home, like myself, was like, okay. So what are they faces? Are they heels? Are they what are they? What are they? What are they? So is it that they want to win the championship? Montez Ford had declared that he was going after gold. He was going after the championship. No matter what championship it is, they're going to win it this year. He made that promise. And so after the attack, is it the fact that he wants to win the tag team championships, but he wants to win them off of DIY? Now, if that's what it is, hopefully we'll get some clarification on SmackDown, because right now I'm a little confused by that. But overall, it was a fine match. It was really good. The attack wasn't bad. It was just the aftermath of it. I'm kind of scratching my head. Like, where are we going with this? Apparently, this is all shaping up to have a big, I don't know, tag team turmoil match at WrestleMania or something for the tag team championships, whatever the case may be. And that's probably where we finally going to see the Street Profits win the tag team championships at WrestleMania, because that's the one thing they haven't done on the main roster, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, Overall, I give this 2 out of 3 falls match for the WWE Tag Team Championships, where we saw DIY retain those championships. I give it I give it 8 out of 10. Um, really good match. I mean, the match was good. It just wasn't long enough. It wasn't. It was stuck in first and second gear. We didn't really get up to 60 miles per hour here. So I was really uh, disappointed with that. I was expecting more out of this match, but what we did get was exciting. Decent match, I should say. Not gonna go out on and say exciting, but whatever the case. Our next match is for the undisputed WWE Championship in a ladder match where our champion Cody Rhodes puts the belt on the line against the quote unquote real champion Kevin Owens. Man, this has been a really good build to this match. This has been a nice story. Love everything that's going on. I love the fact that everybody who's involved in the men's Royal Rumble match over the past couple of weeks has been saying, yeah, I'm going to win the Royal Rumble and I'm going to face Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. I'm going to face Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Everybody's saying that. And Kevin Owens came out on SmackDown and was like, you know, I faced Cody Rhodes at the Royal Rumble. Who's to say he's going to have the belt at WrestleMania, for WrestleMania? And I was saying that when everybody was making that declaration. I'm like, well, so they just looking to pull Kevin Owens. You know, they must have forgot. Kevin Owens could take this belt off of Cody Rhodes. Do I think they were going? Did I think they would do it? No, but I figured it's a no-brainer. But I just thought it would be a banger of a match. And oh my God, what a match! This. I don't know. I don't know if I should make this statement because it's going to be taken completely out of context. But my God, this was the best ladder match, one-on-one ladder match. I'm not counting table ladders and chairs with, the Hardy Boys and Devon and, the Dudley Boys and Edge and Christian and all them. I'm not counting those ladder matches. That's a separate entity on its own. But a one-on-one championship ladder match, this was probably the best one I've seen in forever. Now, I'll have to go back through the archives to really test that. But as it stands right now, my God, what a I'm not even waiting to the end to give my rating. It's 10 out of 10. This was the best match of the night. Best match I've seen in well over, I'll say 3 months. The last match I saw that was up to this level was the Hell in a Cell match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre at Bad Blood. But this was the best match since then, and you probably can put this over that. This match never let up. It was violent. It told a story. From beginning to end, it was it was all gas, no brakes. This was just a straight up street fight. And for a little while, I was like, man, this just a street fight. They went into the audience and all this here. But no, man, this was just great storytelling. And it got bloody. We saw some of the most outrageous spots involving ladders and Alabama slams and suplexes off the top turnbuckle onto a ladder and so on and so. I mean, just pure insanity. And it worked to perfection. These two men, Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, I knew this was going to be a good match. A good match. Didn't think it was going to be great. I did not. You couldn't have told me this going in. I knew I was going to be entertained. I already knew the outcome. And so none of that shocked me, but yet and still I'm sitting here shocked. on how excellent of a match this was. This was a true championship match. This is how championship matches are supposed to play out. This is how storylines are supposed to play out. We incorporated Sami Zayn into this match. He didn't interfere in any way. He didn't hula what do you call it? The hula kick anybody. It was none of that. But that seed is still there, which lets you know that this story has not ended. No pun intended, Mr. Rhodes, but this is not the end of that saga. So beautiful match where we saw Cody Rhodes climb the ladder and retain his undisputed WWE championship, which means Cody Rhodes will be at WrestleMania as the champion. Man, this was a phenomenal match. I cannot speak on it any higher than what it is. I don't even know what to say, to describe, because words can't do it justice on how amazing of a match this was. This is when you hear wrestling fans talk about, man, that was a banger of a match. This is what they talk about. This is what they talk about. Excellent match. I gotta give it a round of applause. 10 out of 10. Beautiful. So that means we had one match left on the night, and it is, of course, the men's Royal Rumble match. 30 men converged inside of a ring in this Rumble match. The winner would get their choice of the World Heavyweight Championship, currently held by Gunther, or the undisputed WWE Championship, currently held by Cody Rhodes, thanks to the match that we saw just before this one at WrestleMania in the main event. This was probably the best WrestleMania match I've seen in about, I want to go 20 years. Maybe about 20 years since I've seen a WrestleMania match this good. I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing how you can sit there. Every entry came in and was linked up in some shape, form, or fashion to some story that was currently going on in the ring. They told a story that was compelling. It was a compelling story. This match didn't have any surprises, I would say, as far as surprise entries. Maybe a couple. Of course, we said his name and he appeared. Joe Hendry, he showed up, and I was expecting that. I was super happy to see him in this match, and actually had a good showing in this match for a little while. AJ Styles returned. That was a nice surprise. And were there any other? No, that was it. Everything else was story. Everything else was linked up to the current stories going on in the WWE. And if it wasn't linked up to a current story, it started one. And this did the job. This match did an amazing job of telling stories and got some great action in the midst of it all. This match started off with Rey Mysterio at number 1, and at number 2, we got Penta. Look, I was looking forward to that, kind of expecting to see that during the match. Didn't know that was going to open the match. I was a little let down by the opening, but I can tell. You can kind of tell that Penta was nervous. He was kind of anxious, when he got in there, because this is his first Royal Rumble, and he's wrestled Rey Mysterio before in the past, I think in Lucha Underground. I know I watched the old clip of match they had together, so it wasn't like he was nervous of wrestling Rey Mysterio, but I think it was just the allure of being in a Royal Rumble match for the first time. But despite all that, he was a little nervous, but they still got some really good spots in. The ring started to fill in some outstanding performances by everybody in here, all 30. There's nobody that was in this match that I would say, oh man, they should have gave that to somebody else. Maybe I Show Speed. But he was there for one reason and one reason only, to take one of the most devastating spears from Braun Breaker I've ever seen. I'm pretty sure he has a concussion, but that's neither here nor there. But everybody in this match did a phenomenal job. Unlike the women's Royal Rumble match, and I don't mean to poo-poo on them, but I mentioned about the botches, and some of the entries didn't quite fit in the match. Here, this was very clean, well choreographed, super duper storytelling. Man, look, once we got a lot of wrestling, a lot of, your traditional Royal Rumble in the first 10 to 12 entries. But once we got around 13, 14, 15, business started to pick up. We got some good additions to this match. Jacob Fatu solidified that he is a main eventer, that he will one day main event WrestleMania and be the guy in this company. That dude is phenomenal. Jacob Fatu is a beast. He is an animal. I can't wait to see what they have next for him. Of course, I guess they're going to keep telling this story with him and Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman, he came in and eliminated him. If you remember, if you saw Saturday Night Main Event, that Jacob Fatu just demolished Braun Strowman, left him a bloody mess in that match. And this is the first time we saw Braun Strowman since that encounter. And so, of course, he would zero in on him in this Royal Rumble match, and he did by eliminating Jacob Fatu. That was cool. Then we get John Cena entering fairly earlier than I expected. I really thought John Cena would be more in the 27 to 30 range, but he came in, I want to say, 22, 23, somewhere up in there, and probably sooner than that. I can't remember. I don't know why I'm blanking on it, but he was in there a while and did all right for somebody who haven't wrestled in a while, who hasn't been wrestling on the regular. You can tell that this needs to be his final time. This needs to be the last go around for him in this arena. He loved John Cena, and honestly, I got a little emotional when he came out, when his music hit. I'm getting emotional now. When his music hit and he came out and he had the towel, the last time is now, and then it dawns on you that this is it. This is his final Royal Rumble. And for 20 years, this dude he truly carried this company through some weird times in WWE. And you got to tip your hat to him, whether you like him or not. He was truly the guy, and to know that this was his final go around, it was kind of sad. I was expecting him to get eliminated fairly early, but he made it to the final two, and I was shocked by that. Was getting a little worried by that, to be honest with you, because as much as I like John Cena, I go as far to say love John Cena, I did not want John Cena to win this match. No, for no reason. I didn't. Yeah, would I like to see him take on Gunther? I can see that. But, I don't see him fighting Cody Rhodes. And Gunther, I would prefer Gunther take on somebody else at WrestleMania. And apparently he will. Because he, Jay Uso, main event Jay Uso, and he earned that name today because he will be main eventing WrestleMania 41 because he won the Royal Rumble. And look, man, I'm happy for him. but I'm not super excited with this outcome. Love him, like I said before, love him, but Jey Uso has not shown me he is the guy. He showed me he is a guy. He's one of the top guys in this company, and of course he's over. I'm not blind. He is, or deaf. He is truly over. You know the way that he holds the crowd in the palm of his hand. Super over. But I can't help but think back to just last year at WrestleMania when he wrestled his brother Jimmy in probably the worst WrestleMania match I have ever seen. And yes, I am taking into account the bra and panty matches from the Attitude Era that was on WrestleMania, the women's battle royals, and all this other stuff during the Divas era. I'm accounting for all that. Yeah, the Jay versus Jimmy match at WrestleMania 40 was so bad. I mean, so bad. It sticks out. It sticks out more than the good stuff that happened at WrestleMania 40. And we're talking over 2 nights, and there was some great stuff to come out of that WrestleMania. But he hasn't improved with me as far as wrestling style. Yes, he's entertaining. Yes, I like him, but I never seen him as a main event guy. You know, as a guy that you put the scrap on and he takes off. Now, with all that being said, this will be interesting. It will be interesting to see. Will he swerve us? We're assuming that he's going to challenge Gunther because that's who he just fought. He's never beat him, and he made that statement on Raw that I know I can beat him. I know I can beat Gunther. You know, Gunther keeps bringing his name up. You know, that insulting him and all this other stuff. So it seems like that's who he's going to pick. But what if he throws a curveball and choose Cody? You know, and so I don't know. But if he picks Gunther, that leaves Cody Rhodes. Who will challenge Cody Rhodes? Well, we'll see at the Elimination Chamber next month, which was set up in this match. I think a lot of pieces were set up for the Elimination Chamber. There was a portion in this match where we had nothing but main eventers in the ring. And the big storyline in this match is Roman Reigns. It all stems from Roman Reigns. Everything revolves around Roman Reigns. You have Drew McIntyre gunning for Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins is still beefing with Roman Reigns. You have CM Punk linked up with the Roman Reigns. You have Sami Zayn linked up with the Roman Reigns, and so on and so. Even Jey Uso linked up. You know, it's all revolving around him. And so we get a portion of this match where CM Punk eliminates both Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins at the same time. Awesome setup. I'm like, okay, you know, my pick in this match was CM Punk. I picked CM Punk to win it, but once that happened, I was like, wait, are they going to do it? And then the next thing you know, Logan Paul comes and eliminates him. You want to talk about throwing a remote control at a television? I was really getting mad because that left Logan Paul, John Cena, Jey Uso, and was that it? I think it was just them three left. And I was like, oh, no, no, no. All I can think about was Logan Paul winning this match. If Logan Paul would have finished this match or won this match, I was done. I was not going to watch WrestleMania. I was not. I don't like Logan Paul. Is Logan Paul talented? Yes, he's super talented in that ring. But I just don't like him. I just straight up don't like him. And for him to get a main event match at WrestleMania, it turns my stomach. It's bad enough he's going to be a part of WrestleMania in some shape, form, or fashion. 9 times out of 10, he'll probably end up wrestling John Cena or something to that effect, or maybe even AJ Styles. I think he eliminated AJ. So it could be something there. But Yeah, with CM Punk, Seth Rollins, they brawled out on the floor after they were eliminated. Seth Rollins gave the curve stomp to Roman Reigns twice, once on the floor and another time onto the steel steps. Awesome, awesome. He snapped. He finally snapped. He's had enough. Uh, you have Drew McIntyre being eliminated by Damian Priest. Will that trickle into WrestleMania or start a program with those two? I mean, it's a lot of stories that came out of here. You got Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker, I don't know, man. I would say by SummerSlam, he's either going to be the undisputed United the undisputed WWE champion or the World Heavyweight champion by SummerSlam. They have to. There's no anything else. You are doing this dude a disservice. Honestly, you're doing him a disservice. The dude is phenomenal. He is phenomenal. The stuff he did in this match was unbelievable. The spear. Oh my God, who was that on? He did a spear on, I believe it was Roman Reigns. Yeah, I think it was Roman Reigns. He speared Roman Reigns, and it looked like he cut Roman Reigns in half. And this is Roman Reigns who does a spear probably better than anybody. But Braun Breaker has earned the title of the best spear giver. He is he is amazing giving a spear. And he gave one. Yeah, I show speed. That looked like he was just trying to decapitate him. But he cut Roman Reigns in half. I am so excited. I'm so proud of Penta. I'm proud of the fact that he is getting the love and shine that he deserves. He had a great showing in this match as well. Look, I am I'm happy. I am happy. I think that we got a lot to look forward to going into WrestleMania season. You know, it was a lot of questions. It's a lot of questions. Like I said to start off this show, where are we heading? What is going on? Because nothing was ever set up as far as we know. But now stuff is starting to come a little clearer. We still don't have definitive answers, but we are at least on the right track. I enjoyed this. I really did. Oh, I didn't give my rating for the men's Royal Rumble. The men's Royal Rumble gets 9 out of 10. It was phenomenal, and it could have gotten a 10 out of 10. It was close. It was very close, but the end was kind of like, I was completely invested until the last, I don't know, 15 minutes of it, where I was kind of like, oh my God, are they really going this way? My anxiety was going through the roof. It could be no fault of WWE. It could have just been me. But my anxiety was tearing me up because I didn't know who was going to win. And that was a good job on WWE. This ain't a knock, because I didn't know who was going to win, honestly. But I am happy with the results. You know, it could have been worse. It could have been Logan Paul. So I'm going to take this and run a marathon with it. But I want to give the results of who had the most eliminations, men and women. Let's start with the women's. The most eliminations tonight in the women's World Rumble match was Nia Jax. Nia Jax eliminated 9 people. 9. She had the most eliminations, only to be eliminated herself by the winner of the women's Royal Rumble match, Charlotte Flair. And for the men's Royal Rumble match, we have a 3-way tie for the most eliminations by a superstar, and they all had 4 eliminations apiece. Braun Breaker had 4 eliminations. No surprise there. He was a beast. Jacob Fatu had 4 eliminations. Once again, a beast. And Roman Reigns had 4 eliminations on the night. This was a really good pay-per-view or premium live event, and can't wait for what's next. I would like to know, what are your thoughts on tonight's Royal Rumble? Do you like where we're heading? Are you happy with Jey Uso winning the men's Royal Rumble, Charlotte Flair winning the women's Royal Rumble, Cody Rhodes retaining his undisputed WWE championship, and DIY retaining their tag team championships? Let me know by email. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for this show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Don't forget about YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to Faces and Heels here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for the Royal Rumble recap and results episode. Oh, what a good show. Really good show. Long. It was pretty long, but it was worth every minute of it. I had a exciting time with every single match. Can't wait to speak to you on the next premium live event, whatever it is. I don't even remember now. Is it the Elimination Chamber? Things are so out of whack now because, okay, this is February. Yeah, it's Elimination Chamber in March. So that means, yeah, we good. We on track. So Elimination Chamber. I had to be sure. Elimination Chamber next month on Peacock or wherever you watch your premium live events. Everybody, y'all be good, stay blessed, and I'll speak to you on the other side.